Yogis and Yoginis, hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a stream in nature, and I have been wanting to do one for a while, and I thought that with the start of autumn would be a great opportunity. And I'm going to talk a little bit about autumn today. We might do a little meditation, but we're going to just reflect upon what autumn brings. And well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what video to do, and I asked my daughters, both of them, what could we do. And Noah had the idea that since autumn has started, it would be a good idea. And I thought, well, if we're gonna do a video about something from nature, it's better to do it in nature. And the truth is, I've wanted to do videos in nature for a while. I did some at the beginning of the year, but something I may not have said in the channel before is that the last video I did in nature, I sprained my ankle coming back, and so I was very disappointed that I had been thinking about doing these videos in nature for a while, and I thought it would be great because if I'm gonna spend some time recording videos, I might as well just do them in a place where I enjoy and I do some sport and I enjoy spending time in nature, and I can bring the nature close to my house, to you. And then I got a sprain and I was like, what is this? What is this telling me? So anyway, it's taken me quite a few months to recover, and I don't have the full mobility on the foot yet, but anyway, we're gonna see if it works again, and hopefully nothing wrong happens with my foot. I brought a nice walking stick this time. Hopefully it will help to avoid any kind of issue. This is a walking stick that I did myself. I like to carve them a little bit, and I put some nice rope for the handle, and it has the shape for the hand. And this is like a survival rope. You can use it to do a shelter if you need it. Not that I'm gonna need it today, but when sometimes I go hiking, and I used to go mountaineering, and in the mountain it's always good to have a rope. But anyway, today, autumn. Let's think about the number of autumn first of all. So if we look at the numbers of the seasons, the first season is the one that is linked to stone, earth, and that's actually the season of winter. We might think initially, we start the year from spring, right? But actually the year begins in autumn. In winter. And in winter we are with the cold. Everything is very to the bare minimum, The trees are very skeletal. You will recognize some of the words that I'm using that are number one, the minimum, the skeletal. And many animals hibernate, so they go to sleep. Number one is the number of sleep. So it is the season where everything is sleeping, and nature as well. And spring is the beginning of life, yeah? Water arrives, and there's plenty of plants growing and starting to live again after the winter where they were asleep or maybe dead. And so life is number 2 and 8, and spring with the water, that's 2 and 8. Summer is clearly fire, with the sun high in the sky, giving us a lot of light and a lot of heat, so that's fire. So this is the fourth season, autumn. Oh, I see they opened up this area. They've cut quite a few trees here. They're over there. Okay, this has changed a bit since the beginning of the year when I came here last. So autumn is the fourth season, and we have 5 numbers, or 5 pairs of numbers, 5 and 10. And there is actually a 5th season, which is called the harvest. And the harvest can be many different times of the month of the year, depending on the plant that you're harvesting. Look, this is a wonderful stick for making a walking stick. I found a nice stick. If I needed a walking stick, I could grab this one. I already have quite a few at home, so no need for another one. But yeah, so the fifth season would be the harvest, and the fourth is autumn. So let's connect autumn to number 4 and 4 and 6 a little bit more. Apart from being the fourth season in the year, the fourth element is wind, and autumn is the season where we can see more the wind picking up, and actually the strength of the wind is going to carry across all the leaves from the trees that are going to be falling down. Yeah, that the most significant thing in autumn is that the trees are stripping naked. This nakedness, this vulnerability of the 4 and 6 happens during the autumn, when the autumn leaves fall. Yeah, I love this jazz song Autumn Leaves, and it's very associated to this number 4 and the 6. Even though in the title of today's video I talked about melancholy, and melancholy as sadness is something that we would connect more to the 2 and the 8. So this is something that I'm going to have to explain how this would be connected. Though we have to know that water and air are always very connected. There is moisture, water, in the air, and there is air in the water. So they are mixed together, and that's why also spring, many people, when they think about spring, they may think about the flowers opening and about maybe even falling in love and things like that. So that's 4 and 6, but actually spring with the water element will be associated to number 2. So in autumn, even though it's 4 and 6 and that's the air element, we can connect it to melancholy. And that's because when the leaves fall, they are reminding us of how time passes by and we lose things. Yeah, in this case, the leaves. There is this nakedness of the trees makes us connect with our own nakedness in front of life, and how we have all lost things in life. And this loss of the leaves are like the loss of the armor. You know, the leaves are the 3 and 7 of the tree. 3 and 7 is like our armor. So when the trees are losing the 3 and the 7, the most external appearance of the tree is as these leaves, which make the shape of the tree, the protection of the tree. As it falls, then the tree is unprotected and it's naked. So that, in a way, you could think, well, okay, see, if the leaves are falling, the 3 is falling, maybe we're falling into the 2. But this nakedness is actually stepping into the realm of the 4. And so when this armor falls, we are more in contact with what is inside, what is in our hearts, because 4 and 6 is the heart. And if you have felt any pain, and who hasn't, right? If you have stored any sort of pain in your heart, in the season of autumn, you're going to be in contact with it. And it's nice to see. There's all these leaves here on the ground. Many more will fall. We just began the season, and this is like. I was just thinking, now I'm connecting to another thing as well. So how do you call that? Ephemeral. How ephemeral is life, no? That comes and goes away. And I was thinking how in Japanese culture, because I lived in Japan for a few months, some of you know it, that there is, I actually visited Japan. I went once and I stayed there for a few months, and then I went back for a few weeks. And in the 2 times I visited, I managed to see the 2 most important natural events of the year, which are the sakura, the cherry blossoms, and the koyo, which is when the leaves change color. And the sakura also reflect upon this ephemeral life, how life comes and goes. And yeah, when you see the cherry blossoms and the petals of the flowers are being blown by the wind, and you may think it's like the soul passing by, you know. How many souls, you know, how many lifetimes have we had? How many lives have we gone through the journey of our soul, no? How many lives have we come and go, and how long will this life last? And I'm not trying to get depressive, right? but there is a certain melancholy. So you see how it's the 2 and the 4 are very connected in that way. So the autumn leaves, drift by my window, and so we get naked with our soul. And in the nakedness with our soul, there is a great vulnerability. And this vulnerability may feel like a weakness when you are going through it, but it's actually necessary, and it could be empowering. Again, I'm bringing things from the 2 and the 8. I'm connecting them with the elements of the 4 and the 6. There is this book by, I think it's Paulo Coelho, who talks about the letting go of the armor, to get rid of your armor. And it's about this. We have to be brave to face the wounds that we have, and also realize that not everything is a wound. In the heart there is pain, and part of this pain is just natural because the heart is sensitive, and just being alive, there is a certain pain to the human condition. The soul feels kind of trapped a little bit in the rib cage, and so there's going to be an inherent amount of pain within this lifetime anyway. Let me just check. Okay. I hope it's recording properly. It's interesting. Yesterday I went swimming, and I was thinking, will I do a video about the autumn? Because I had just asked my daughter, no? Maybe I can do it about that. It could be an interesting topic. And as I am thinking this, while I'm doing my laps, I come up, and they had this kind of aqua gym class next lane, and they were kind of noisy. They had a lot of music and a lot of people moving and dancing in the water. But as I was thinking this, I come up to the surface, I stop for a second, and then I noticed the music has changed, and they are finishing the class, and the teacher is putting some relaxing music. Well, would you believe it, that the relaxing music was Guru Ramdas from Kundalini Yoga? Well, I thought, how amazing that on one side, that the music from this tradition, Kundalini Yoga, as taught by Yogi Bhajan, has become so popular. And it was not Snatam Kaur, because Snatam is the most well-known singer, maybe, one of the most. And for a while you could hear her voice in every shop of, incense and Tibetan stuff and things like that. You could hear some Snatam in the background. This was not Snatam, this was another singer which I actually couldn't recognize it, but it was Guru Ramdas' song. And I thought, well, Guru Ramdas is the 4th Guru, isn't it? And I was just reflecting upon how autumn is number 4. So that was like a confirmation to me that the topic for today would be this, number 4. So, yes, there is the story where I already told this story a few times when I'm how do you call that? A person who works the fields, a farmer, A farmer goes into the court, and he has some issues he wants to deal with. He has some troubles that he wishes that the Guru would help him with. So in those times you could go and see the Guru to ask for help. Just like if you would call I don't know, your Lord back in the day, in the medieval times you would go to the Lord to ask for help for whatever reason. Well, this farmer is going to the Guru, and as he's coming into the room, he hears the cries. Yeah, so this cries, this amazing song and cries, and he realizes that that's the Guru. That's Guru Ramdas crying. And so imagine the shock. You're looking for somebody to help you with your issues, and here is the guy crying. And then what does that mean, right? Okay, this is getting narrower. And so Guru Ramdas is very much in contact with his heart. And he experiences the pain of being alive, and also the pain of those around him. And so he puts that pain into the words of the Shabbat, and he sings praises, but he also sings like, how can we survive this, Can you help us? Kind of asking for help to God. So that's quite interesting, that in a way you are worried about a cow or something, and then the Guru is talking about a worry that is much larger than that. It's about, how lost we are in the world, how we have gotten corrupted by all the traps that Maya has left for us. And I'm thinking, this path that I'm going through right now is a little bit like that. There's all these thorns around, yeah? There is these thorns here. They're trying to catch me. They're trying to sting me. And it's becoming narrower and narrower. And this is like Maya getting encroached upon us. And how are we going to survive this without the blessing? So Guru Ramdas is asking for this blessing. Blessing is number 6. Grace is number 6, yeah? So the season will be 4 and 6, both, autumn. So in a way, here comes autumn. The trees start to get naked. The weather turns more windy and dark, rainy. The days are darker and darker, yeah? And we, in turn, go darker in our moods and reflect upon our pains in the heart. And so, what do? We can go into this as a depression, yeah? We can take the dark state into a depressive state and allow the negative thoughts to cloud us. Or we can turn, what we said, emotion into devotion. So this is where the chance to transform the pain, the passion, into compassion. And the melancholy, let that melancholy feed our bhakti. So let the sadness of the feeling the leaves falling, the days passing by, one more year for us, yeah? One more year in this planet, one more year of things that have happened, accidents, disease, people who died, things that we have lost. And what do we do with all of this? You can go into a dark place, or you can take all that and use that cry into the Shabbat, and so offer it to God. I was having a consultation the other day with a man who was struggling through a number of issues in his life, and he was putting a lot of effort in that. He was really doing his best, and it was almost overcoming him. Yeah, it was almost too much for him, and I could recognize that he needed to go to something higher than himself. The thing is, many people are very disillusioned with the idea of God. Maybe because of their upbringing or whatever they experience in church or religion. Church, when I say church, could be synagogue or whatever, temple, gurudwara, whatever. Sometimes we get disillusioned with that. And so we turn away from even the idea of God. But if we can connect to the idea that there is something higher than us, and this something higher is guiding us and listening to us. You can call it whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's just a name, yeah? But if you don't want to call it God, then you should also reflect, why not? What do I have against this word? If you recognize there is some higher power, and hold on, this is a tricky bit. Lots of thorns and a tree to pass underneath. All right. If you do recognize that there is this higher power, and let's say all these synchronicities that occur in life, they are pointing out that there is some intelligence force acting for us, doing something for us. And that intelligence force is guiding us and it's listening to us. If we talk to it, it responds. It's happened, yeah? It's not immediately like a voice out loud, but in a subtle way, or sometimes in a very obvious way, you may get a response. Okay, this is getting harder and harder. I think I should turn back, because now there's actual trees. Let me show you. Yeah, there's trees, and over there even more. And I'm actually getting close to the highway. I don't want to go to the highway, so I'll take it as a sign to go back. But sometimes we complain, yeah, that God doesn't do anything for us, or why does God do that for us, or whatever. And the thing is, are we actually connecting to that force? And that's why in yoga we talk about how meditation has to be balanced with prayer. But I understand a lot of people have this resistance to the concept of prayer. We don't even know what prayer is. Yeah? I have another video on this, on prayer, in the channel if you want to watch. I think it's called On Silence and Prayer. But this is the challenge right now, right? We enter into this season, the melancholy starts, the winds blow, and we have a chance to turn into the heart, to transform that pain into devotion, to surrender our victim personality, our need to feel bad about ourselves, the pity, looking for pity from others. Surrender all that and go deeper into the heart. The more I study yoga, the more I have the feeling that at the end of the day, the most important is what happens in the heart. It's, I would say, the most important practice. More than the asanas, more than the chakra aligning or whatever we want to do, is what's happening in the heart. So I'm still trying to learn how to use the technology better. I hope you see me all right. Maybe I would need a longer stick, but I don't know if you would hear me well then. I'm gonna try like this. It's a little bit harder, but I'm gonna try like this. So the more I go into the world of yoga and I study the scriptures, the more I feel that the most important is actually to be in the heart. And this idea of the third cave, the cave of the heart, yeah, Hidaya Guha, and the light shining there. And how often are we ourselves afraid of letting that light shine? And fear is number 6, so that's connected to 4 and 6. So again, connected to the autumn. Just like being afraid of to be one more leaf that falls, yeah? Not to be the one that falls ourselves. So in the same way, this light that lives within our heart, this light wants to shine. Are we allowing it? Are we afraid of it? Are we afraid to be seen? Because when we shine that light, we are seen. And that makes us, again, vulnerable. So yes, autumn makes us naked, makes us vulnerable. And that's painful, and because we are afraid of that pain, we are afraid to shine that light. There's a very, very good video, one of these TED conferences on vulnerability. What was the speaker? I think she was called, I think it's Brené Brown. I can't tell 100% sure, but I think it was Brené Brown. It was a very good speech. And how important vulnerability is. Because it feels like you are losing a battle in a way. If you're vulnerable, you're gonna be the one who loses. Sorry, I can't manage to have the camera straight. Hold on. It's difficult to control. All right. There we go. I'll try like this for a minute. Four and 6 is the number of silence. So the wind blowing on the leaves, that sound brings us also into silence. And going into the heart makes us also want to go into the silence. So let's just keep a little bit of silence now while I walk. Just appreciating the surroundings, listening to the birds' calls and the rustle of the leaves. I wonder if we can continue a little bit with the other camera. What? You don't need to look at me. Let's have a nice walk in the forest. And while I walk, and if you are walking, you can breathe Sat Nam. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Or you can just simply listen in silence. Om Hridaya Kuharamadye Kevalam Brahma Matram Aham Aham Iti Saksha Atma Rupena Bhakti Hridi Vishamanasaswam Chimvatam Achatavam Pavanachalanarodat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Om Hridaya Kuharamadye Kevalam Brahma Matram Aham Aham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhakti Hridi Vishamanasasvam Chimvatam Ajatavam Pavanachalanarodat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Om Hridaya Kuharamadye Kevalam Brahmamatram Aham Aham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhakti Hidi Vishamanasasvam Chimvatam Ajatavam Pavanachalanarodat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Om Hridaya Kuharamadye Kevalam Brahmamatram Aham Aham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhakti Hridi Vishamanasasvam Chimvatam Ajatavam Pavanachalanarodat Admanishto Bhavatvam Hridi Vishamanasasvam Chimvatam Ajatavam Pavanachalanarodat Admanishto Bhavatvam Atmanishto Bhavatvam Atmanishto Bhavatvam Sadnam everyone. I think it's enough for today. I'm gonna keep walking here, but thank you for your company. If you were watching until here, we were walking together. Let me know if you appreciate this kind of content, or if you would prefer more the traditional kind of videos that I've been doing in the past, and so I know what to expect. But anyway, thank you very much. Enjoy this autumn. Don't be afraid to turn the melancholy into the Bhakti, and many blessings. Sadnam.